Ready.
Set.
Gamecast.
Welcome to Ready, Set, Gamecast, a bi-weekly podcast about video games and mythology. I'm Darrian, and I'm joined by the god of mischief, Bryce.
I'm chaotic neutral. I do as I please, and I please who I do.
And we're 10 seconds in, and we have the explicit tag.
I don't think that's true.
I think it's true.
I'm pretty sure I can say that without it being explicit, because
I think that's explicit.
if you understand what I'm saying, then you're already fine. I think explicit is basically if somebody repeated the exact words, if we said an F-bomb or something that a kid's listening and then they're gonna say the F-bomb. I used to just say random words instead of swears, and it actually was very good because at one point I was driving with my son in the back. He was I don't know, 3 or something, and I was going through an intersection when a car pulls out in front of me, and I managed to hit the brakes quickly and stuff, and I just shouted geek, and just the word geek, not instead of F word or anything, and my son just starts shouting the several times, and I'm glad I didn't say a swear. He can say that all he wants because that's just a word.
We get the explicit tag because I swear a lot.
I kind of stopped giving a F about it. The only, I think the most recent time I put an explicit tag on is when we explicitly talked about, very graphic sex details when Alex O'Neill was on the show. That one I specifically, in the title, put explicit, so people knew what they were getting. It was both marked explicit, and I put in the title, explicit. You know what you're getting when you're listening to this one.
That was a good show. We should bring him back.
Maybe when we have about 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
to record.
After the holiday season.
Yeah. Plus, I've got some other guests I want to get on here.
Yeah, I still have a guest that I want to get on here too.
Is it your fiance?
No. One, we're not engaged.
He proposed to you with a snake.
No. I mean, basically, but not in the way that he thought.
Well, once you get a pet together, you can never break up. Though I don't think you are sharing the pet. I think that's your snake.
Yeah, it's my snake. It was more of a gift.
Yeah, do you guys share any of your pets, or is they all yours?
The dog.
The dog is both of yours?
Well, we have a failsafe though, because the cats are mine. And the dog is his because he had the dog first, and I had the cats first. And with the snake, actually that could get tricky because he works with the person who was my friend, is my friend, who sold us the snake. But he was my friend first. And that could get tricky.
Who cares about the relationship of the person who provided the snake?
Well, because going forward, getting the things that we need to care for her, we're going to get them through him. Because he's an exotic pet dealer. And he's got the hookups to get cheap but high quality products for our snake.
That sounds super sketchy.
It's like a drug dealer, but with snakes.
I mean, it's just a snake dealer.
He's a snake dealer. Bryce, what have you been playing?
I was gonna go last, but
it's too late
because I have a news story related to it. But it's fine. I've been playing.
Okay, I can go.
Well, yeah, you go, and then I can lead into.
So I played my regular shit. Played some Dead by Daylight and some League of Legends. I've put in a little bit of time in Let's Go, and not a whole lot, because my friend Bryce got me God of War. So I've been playing the shit out of that game, as that game is very good. Boy!
How many Bryces do you know?
Boy. I only know one boy, Bryce.
You only know one boy.
I only know one boy, Bryce.
Give me your non-spoiler hot takes about God of War.
It's very visually appealing. I feel like I'm sure there are some references that I'm missing in the gameplay, having not played any previous God of War games.
I sent you IGN's like God of War explained in 7 minutes, which actually goes into more detail than you're gonna need for the game. But if you know like a couple things, some moments later on are gonna be more powerful for you.
I did watch a lot of stuff about the previous God of War games, and I'm like half tempted to try to go and play them now, but
Don't.
All right. Temptation gone.
Just like as long as you know that like he was a dude, Ares enslaved him. He basically had the blades of chaos chained to him. And then like Athena was like Athena actually made him the god of war because he killed Ares, and then he was just like, I guess I'm my thing's done. And then Athena comes up and it's like, you're the new god of war, and that was a bad idea, Athena. Really fucked up there. And then he did some. I guess he just. Well, he was just really pissed off because Ares forced him to kill his own family. So he was like plagued with like really upset about that all the time. So he was just like trying to figure out how to fix that, and then eventually, I guess
he wasn't trying to figure out how to fix it. He was trying to get rid of the memories.
Yeah, fix the pain, not fix his dead family. Which you would think a god would be able to do. Like, he has gone to the underworld and gotten out so many times. You figure he would be able to get in there and get his family out, especially as a god. I can see as like a mortal before he as a normal dude before he killed Ares, he might have issues. Once he's the god of war, you figure he'd be able to just get him back, but.
I think the mortals leaving is a little bit more of a trouble.
No. And then he I guess eventually just says fuck it and kills every god, including his father Zeus, and that's how God of War 3 ends. And
his bad dad. And
then I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of people who are Zeus's kids. Zeus got around.
Zeus was a slut. One of my coworkers at work made me watch the fight with Hercules, and I got very mad because like he was like calling him brother and shit, and while in the games, like, yes, that's accurate. I was just like, you can't just fucking rewrite mythology like this. What are you doing, God of War? Like, what is going on? And I got really upset about that, and then my coworker's like, no, it's just in the game, Darrian. Nobody rewrote mythology.
So you've played Hellblade.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming your knowledge of Norse mythology probably mostly comes from Marvel movies.
Not really, actually. The only Thor movie that I've seen is Ragnarok.
Okay, well.
So, like, I very much avoided most of that. I did study a little bit of Norse mythology after Hellblade. And when someone told me the first person that I fought, its name, I looked up his mythological story again, because I was like...
No.
Don't do
that.
How... Like, I know in the mythology that he's not alive, so like
you were not supposed to find out his name till much later.
So even if someone hadn't spoiled it in my chat, I started watching God of War memes at work, and now the YouTube at work is recommending God of War videos, and I got another spoiler, and I'm just like, no, wait.
Why are you watching God of War memes?
Because I like
You
memes.
haven't finished the game. Don't watch memes. You're gonna spoil stuff. But it is cool that like God of War kind of takes things from actual mythology and kind of twists them in interesting ways. Like you can kind of see hints of the actual mythology, but kind of twisted in interesting ways. As with like characters you'll meet and stuff. They'll kind of like there'll be times they'll be like, oh, that story, no, that like it went very differently or whatever. Characters will talk to you. Anyway, you liking the story? You liking the gameplay?
I am. At the beginning, I was very mad because, again, I've never played a God of War game, so I don't know anything about Kratos. I mean, I do now, having watched that IGN movie or video.
Yeah, Kratos is just kind of an angry dude just attacking people. He doesn't really have much of a character. And to be in this, he doesn't really have a whole lot of character other than you can tell that he's just kind of mournful and kind of like trying to not be his past.
He's also like actually trying to step into the father role.
Yeah.
Like he's taking little baby steps. He's not there at all. But he's trying to be a father to Atreus.
I mean, you'll have more to say as you get further.
I'm sure I will.
And like I am looking forward to the Game of the Year discussions when we're going to be able to have like full talks without it would be like it's Game of the Year, people. Spoilers at the door. Darth Vader. He's everybody's father now.
Darth Vader is
Zeus.
is Gandalf the White.
Other games?
I think that's all the games I've been playing.
What do you think of Pokemon Let's Go? You got Eevee. What's it like making a bad decision?
I think I made the better decision actually.
I got Pikachu. And then you talked the Pokeball up so much. So I decided to pick one up.
And it was great.
And I couldn't get the Pokeball by itself. They were sold out, but they were still available in the bundles. So I was like, oh, I will get the Let's Go Eevee version with the bundle or with the Pokeball. And then I'll give the Eevee video game to my girlfriend to play, and I'll have the ball. And I recently found out that in Smash Brothers, you'll get a Pikachu and Eevee Spirit if you have saves for those games on your Switch. So it's like, okay, I already have the Pikachu one. I'm gonna quickly start a Eevee save so that way when Smash Brothers comes out, I'll be able to get the Eevee Spirit too. And like Pikachu, like the voice acting, like as weird as it is about talking about voice acting for Pikachu, the voice acting Pikachu is way better than Eevee, and like that seems kind of obvious because they've had people voicing Pikachu for so long. They've like figured out how
It's been the same voice actress the whole time.
Yeah, and they know how to like make them saying the word Pikachu be like, I'm saying it excitedly. I'm very scared about this. I'm like the Eevee was just like, this just doesn't seem like anything.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's saying Eevee, but it's still cute.
Yeah, but the voice acting for Pikachu is very, very good.
That that little tidbit in the chat. I know we don't usually read chat, but apparently the voice actor for Eevee also does the voice for Anne in the Japanese version of Persona 5, and that's just really random and cool. Credit to Zyger.
Okay.
Okay, Bryce, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Pokemon Let's Go. I am now the champion of Let's Go. I have some comments. 1, your rival's dumb. He's not your rival. You should have just called him your best friend, because at no point is he rivalry. He's just like, hey buddy, let's go catch some Pokemon. Hey buddy, let's do it. Let's be best. We're gonna be so good at this. And like,
At the beginning, it does say, this is your rival, but he's more like your best friend. Like,
Yeah.
that's something the game says.
he's not your rival. There's nothing rivalry about it. I love seeing Blue. I was, every time I was like, yes, tell me that you'll smell me later. This is the content I'm here for. I did hear that Green and Red are in the game. I have encountered Green. Which like, I beat the game and the only one I had encountered was Blue. So I was like, what? Where's? And then I encountered Green with one of the big moments, but I have not encountered Red yet. I'm guessing it might be tied into completing your Pokedex.
Maybe. I know that when you complete the Pokedex, that's the only time you'll get the shiny hunter item.
Yeah, the shiny charm, the shiny charm.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I have a few trades when you're ready, so that I can evolve some things and get them in my Pokedex.
Yeah, I need to do some of that. So right now I've finished the game, and I've been working on completing my Pokedex, but more so as part of that, I've been defeating the Masters. Do you know about them? So once you beat the game, out in the world, there will be somebody who is for each Pokemon, every 154, because you'll have 152 Mewtwo, but you can put Meltan and Melsteel in Pokemon Go, and they also have a master. What's dumb about Meltan is that you can put Meltan in to Pokemon Go, but you cannot evolve him in Pokemon Let's Go.
Melmetal?
You have to what's his name?
Melmetal?
Melmetal, okay.
I don't know if that's accurate. I tried to look up his evolution and there was not not very good info on it, sorry.
According to Zyger, Melmetal is 153. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay. So anyway.
Oh, what?
Yeah, because it's Mewtwo's 150, Mew's 151, Meltan's 152, Melmetal's 153. Okay, so you cannot. I put a Meltan in. I transferred him from Go into Let's Go, and just kept him in my party. It was like, eventually he'll evolve and it'll be real dope. But he wasn't evolving, so I looked it up. The only way to evolve him is in Pokemon Go by giving him 400 candies. So if you wanted to get all of the masters, for each 153 Pokemon, there is a master, and they have a very, very good of that Pokemon. So there's a Pikachu master, there's a Pidgey master, there's an Ivysaur master. So it's like, and you have to battle them with that same one. So you would battle a Pikachu master with a Pikachu. You would battle an Ivysaur master with an Ivysaur. And then once you do so, they're like, you're the Ivysaur master, and then you can use that as a title in battles and stuff. You can be like, I'm the Charizard master. So that's the like fun little end game thing to do. Is try and get like really good Pokemon to be able to defeat all the masters, which I was like, you were probably gonna get, if you want to defeat every master, that's gonna actually take you a long time because Pokemon are in like the 70s to 80 level, uh and they are all like, I would say probably high IVs too, because I brought like a high level, I would say he was like level, their Venusaur was like level 75. I brought an 86 to the table and still got my ass kicked. So
Do you just like find them in the world?
yeah, well, yeah. So once you beat the champion deal, you'll be going around and some people have things above their head showing them the type of Pokemon that they're the master of. And then you go up to them and you have to have that type of Pokemon in your first slot to indicate that you want to battle their deal.
And when you beat them, sorry, what happens?
Then they're like, I guess you're the master now, and then you get the title of Charizard Master or Pikachu Master.
Do you have to beat all 151 of them to, well, all of 100, how many?
153.
To get Pokemon Master? And is there one for each evolution?
Yes, one for every evolution. So you have to get a Magikarp and make sure he does not evolve into a Gyarados, because then you can't fight him against the Magikarp Master, and then you got to get a Gyarados, and he's got to get him real good.
Ugh. That sounds so grindy.
It's an interesting challenge.
Oh my god, that sounds so awful.
It's an interesting challenge. So I've been sitting there and just, because like what I'll do is I'll be like, okay, I need to get a Beedrill. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get Pokemon with very high IVs, so that when I evolve my guy into a Beedrill, he's gonna be a very, very good Beedrill, so that I'll be able to use him against the Beedrill Master. So I'm kind of focusing on getting catch combos and stuff, just to try and get high IV guys.
God, that's like hundreds of hours of gameplay.
Oh, okay. Zyger says you need to have 10 master titles to be able to battle red.
And you have to beat blue and green.
Yeah, you'll be yeah, okay. So yeah, blue and green you'll encounter post game pretty easily. I haven't seen sight no smear of red. Green's an interesting character.
Green's the girl, right?
Green's the girl. Because originally there's some old art of red, green, and blue, kind of chilling. This is the first time that she's actually appeared as a character. Okay. It took me a while to really warm up to the catching. I'm kind of getting more into it. I really like the way the cutscenes really make the game feel like this is your story. There was a moment right before you you arrive at like, I can't remember the name of the plateau, but like right before you battle the Elite Four, there's a cutscene where you kind of like look up at the Elite Four area, and like Pikachu jumps off your shoulder, and he looks up, and like it looks like, oh, this is like your last big challenge, and then you get to choose something to say to Pikachu. It's like, it's all up to you, pal, or like, let's do this and stuff. And it was like, it made those moments that were just like, okay, I guess it's time to battle Elite Four, feel like big moments in ways that it really hasn't before. Yeah, they do really cool story stuff. I think we're going to be doing most innovative in Game of the Year. I figure at the very least that Pokemon Let's Go will probably get an honorable mention. What's Darrian looking at?
Looking at what? Sorry.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at Green's backstory and all of the Pokemon she has in the manga.
Okay.
Hi, I'm just Darrian being Darrian.
Okay, also, I played through Injustice Gods Among Us, the first one, on Saturday randomly because I got an Nvidia Shield, which is a $150 streaming box. Allows you to watch Netflix and stuff, but also you can use it as a Steam Link. It's an Android based streaming box. It's really fast and really powerful, and I really like it. But so it allows you to get Steam Link on it. So I was testing it out, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna play a fighting game. That'll be a good indication of like how, if there's gonna be any input lag or any issues with it. Fighting game's gonna tell me, like, be an indication of if this is gonna work. And I started playing it, and my girlfriend was watching, and she was like really getting into the story. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna be done, and she's just like, I want to see more, and I'm like, okay. So I just played through all of Injustice, for her to see it. She really
In one sitting?
yeah. She really like the story of the original Injustice is very good. I really like it. But I will say, the Nvidia Shield, there was the only issues I saw was maybe a little bit of like screen tearing during cutscenes. I did not see any issues with gameplay. I had an Xbox One controller linked to the Shield to play the games with. I tried using a PS4 controller because those all have Bluetooth, but the Injustice was giving me button prompts using the Xbox, and I was like, I don't know what buttons this is supposed to be. Like, I don't know how it translates over. So I just figured out how to attach my Xbox controller. But that's what I've been playing. What comes next, Darrian?
Now we're going to talk about the news. Bryce, you're up. Talk about it.
So speaking of the Steam Link, the official Steam Link, the hardware device that Valve made to do the Steam Link things is gone. They stopped making it. They used to sell these for like $5 during Steam sales. Valve didn't explicitly say that they would no longer make the Steam Link, instead heavily implying the boxes currently available would be the last of them. The supply of physical Steam Link hardware devices is sold out in Europe and almost sold out in the US, the post reads. You could still buy the Steam Link. I'm reading an article on Polygon. They say this that you could still buy the Steam Link, but after checking recently, they were sold out unless that has changed. Valve says, moving forward, Valve continues to support the existing Steam Link hardware as well as the distribution of online versions of the Steam Link, available as many leading smartphones, tablets, and televisions. So they had the device, the Steam Link, but now they've ported the software. You can use Steam Link on your phone. You could hook up a controller to your phone and play any game you have on Steam, or you could get an Nvidia Shield like I do, and play. So the way the Steam Link works, if you don't know, Darrian, it basically just like sends your screen somewhere else. So when I open up the Steam Link on my Nvidia Shield, it's just showing me my desktop screen and allowing me to interact with my desktop screen in my laptop or in my living room using my Shield. or my Steam Link. I have Steam Links. I've had issues with them. I've been able to play Monster Prom with them, but anything that was like fast, I think there just wasn't a good enough internet connection to make it work. I think something like the Nvidia Shield is just more powerful and can make it work better. What you can even do is you can minimize Steam and just, like look at YouTube videos or whatever. It literally just shows your desktop screen and allows you to interact with it from other place. So it's really great if you have a really good gaming PC in one room of your house, but you're like, I want to play my PC games in the living room or in my bedroom or wherever. The Steam Link allows you to do that, and they even have apps on your phone and stuff to be able to play those things on your phone. But and I think you have to be on the same Wi-Fi network as the computer that has Steam running. But it looks like the official Steam Link device is gone, and they're more going to support the software and other hardware that runs it, like the Nvidia Shield and smart TVs and phones and stuff. If anybody's interested in it, I recommend the Nvidia Shield. They did a good job by me. And the official Steam Link is goodbye. It's gone. That's it. What's next, Darrian?
Earlier we were talking about Pokemon Go. Sorry, you're relaxing a little bit too much. You gotta sit up straight and be watching things on your monitor. Oh, are you gonna eat that right now? He's gonna eat while we're streaming. Good if he can. I can too, right? Is that chocolate shell edible? Is that a real chocolate shell that you can eat?
For the audio listeners, I have a giant Ferrero Rocher. How big of my head would you say? Maybe half the size of my head?
Maybe a third.
A third of the size of my head. They have a giant Ferrero Rocher that is just the shell. It doesn't have the gooey center that the normal Ferrero Rochers have, but inside of the shell is some actual Ferrero Rochers. Everyone needs to write into radio.gamecast.com/submit and tell Darrian that she should eat a Ferrero Rocher.
And the next news story is that they finally teased Pokemon Go PvP battles.
They also gave us information.
What?
They gave us information. They told us about leagues and stuff.
Oh. Yeah. They told us about leagues.
Oh my god, Darrian.
Great Ultra and Master Leagues named after the Pokeballs.
Yes, and what's the things about those?
They all have CP requirements.
They have max CP. As in, you can't bring your heavy hitters in and just be like, well, mine has more CP than you, so I'm gonna win. Looks like the official. We're gonna get some more information on the 4th. So when this comes out officially, you'll know this. But when we're recording this, we don't have the full details. But I don't think they've indicated how the battles are actually gonna work, and they've indicated these leagues thing. It kind of makes, are we going to be fighting random people, or am I going to be able to go, hey, Darrian, let's do a Pokemon battle? Because with this leagues, you would assume that it's just kind of random people. You typically don't have a league if you're doing hey, Jimmy Bob, let's battle. It would be kind of cool if they do what Let's Go does and just sets all your Pokemon's levels to 50, so gives you a level playing field.
Yep.
But we don't have all the information. It's coming soon. We'll learn the secrets of the universe.
They teased it. It's coming.
I was gonna make a sex joke.
You know who made Pokemon? Nintendo.
Game Freak made Pokemon. I don't understand the difference between Game Freak and the Pokemon Company. Are they the same thing?
Also, what does that all have to do with Nintendo? Because I could have sworn Nintendo had.
Are
they their publisher or something? I don't understand.
I imagine if Nintendo's the publisher, but like Game Freak is the developers. How many animals are in your room right now?
2 of them. Pokemon has something to do with Nintendo. What else has something to do with Nintendo?
Mario and Luigi. Do you want me to stop eating?
I don't care. This is your news story, though, so...
Oh, shit, I didn't know. You gotta tell me, you gotta say, hey, Bryce, tell me about it.
Bryce, I'm doing a transition. It's a bad transition. Tell me the story.
It was a bad transition because I didn't know which news story you were pulling. I don't have the outline up. I was eating a giant Ferrero Rocher.
You dropped the ball. You dropped the giant... What is it called? Ferrero Rocher?
Ferrero Rocher.
You dropped the giant Ferrero Rocher ball.
The Nintendo Creators Program draws to a close this December. Darrian, do you know what the Nintendo Creators Program is?
It's the way that Nintendo,
kept the gamer down.
Yeah, it was Nintendo's Creators Program was them partnering with the people who were making the videos and then taking a percentage of their profits, right?
Well, so here's how most game companies that you want to make a video about the new God of War. I actually don't know how specifically Santa Monica, I don't know what the developers. I don't know if and I don't know if that's a publisher decision or a developer decision. But game companies will go like, "Hey, go make content about our games. Make the YouTube videos. You're making this content. You go get paid." Nintendo said no. Don't mess with Mario. Don't play Mario Kart. Don't play Mario Party. Don't even look at Luigi. Keep your grubby mitts off our content. But if we approve of you, if we think you're the hot new Jimmy Johns, we'll allow you to keep some of the money. We're going to take all of the money, but if you join our creators program and meet our requirements and do things the way we say, we'll give you some of the money back. And I think Nintendo's finally like wised up a little bit, and they're closing the creators program because they are opening up their rules, basically saying that like everybody, as long as you're not doing anything like bad with the Nintendo products, if you're not like having Mario make rude gestures or something, I don't know, you can put out YouTube videos of you playing Mario Party or playing Mario Kart or whatever, and just keep all the money, and you're fine. So Nintendo's kind of relaxing their stuff. They did kind of outline specifically of like, these are the services that we're fine with. It's like Facebook Live, Twitch, YouTube, like the ones that, you know, people would be doing, but they specifically call out which ones they're cool with, which is interesting. But in general, this is a very good step forward in terms of Nintendo, because I know there was a lot of creators who were not making Nintendo videos because of Nintendo basically being like, you do it our way or you don't do it at all. And even if you do it our way, we're still going to take your money. At least some of it. So it's really cool that Nintendo's kind of backed off on that and is being more encouraging for creators to make things with their content. And it's probably timed around the fact that Smash Bros is coming out soon, and they want all those cool memes. That's it. Make your memes.
Time for the Nintendo memes.
What's your favorite Nintendo meme?
Waluigi not being in Smash.
I like the one where Kirby's the best boy.
Is that a meme or is that just true?
Everybody's actually, speaking of memes, I love all the memes relating to like everybody dying. All the content from like there was the ones where like the like yoga people and like Ness and stuff are just making like flailing around wildly. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can do nothing in this situation. And there was the like people who were getting very attached to Sonic reaching out to Pikachu as they were running away from their deaths. Please tell me you have seen the World of Light trailer for Smash Brothers.
I've not.
Oh my god, you need to see that after this podcast.
You know what's the real travesty here?
Travis
I'm running
McElroy?
a Smash. What?
Travis McElroy is the real travesty.
Oh, yep.
Go ahead.
I'm running a Smash tournament on December 15th.
I think there's a Smash tournament in town here on that day too, but it's a free one and there's a cash prize of $100.
It's also free, and our prize is, I think, going to be a copy of the game.
Is it for Ultimate? You're going to be playing Ultimate? That makes no effing sense.
Yes, it does.
Because you would want to own the game so you can practice, so you can win the tournament. So you essentially be getting another copy of the game because you probably aren't going to win the tournament
It
unless...
wasn't my idea to do it that way.
Well, you need to be more forceful with the direction your thing's going in. Take charge. Grab life by the Pokeballs. How's it going, host?
Speaking of taking charge, the Stardew Valley developer, Concerned Ape, is splitting from Chucklefish in order to manage his own lifestyle choices for Stardew Valley. He'll be controlling all except for the Switch and mobile versions of Stardew Valley. But the split was not, I guess, negative. It says it was an amicable split. And he still had a lot of good things to say about Chucklefish. I think he just, I don't know, wants to do his own thing now. What are your thoughts, Bryce? You look like you have a lot of thoughts.
Do you think they're gonna put orgies in the game?
Orgies?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, sorry, I meant origami, as I mixed those up.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
They could add a new character, and it's the Origami Man.
That's weird.
Did you know? Have you got into the weeds about the like Stardew Valley characters? Also, how often have you opened that cool book that you have?
When I first got it, I read it from cover to cover because I was sick. So I just sat on my couch and read about it, and I was like, man, I can't wait to apply this to my gameplay.
I remember that you were like, man, next stream, I'm gonna do Stardew Valley because I got this cool book. And then you haven't done a Stardew Valley stream since.
I have not done a Stardew Valley stream.
I was all excited to see. If you guys don't know, I got our Stardew Valley book for her birthday. I also a coloring book, a Stardew Valley coloring book. There's actually a really cool Stardew Valley jacket I'm gonna send you later. Yeah, and she was like, I'm gonna play the video game, and I was excited to watch her flip through the book and go like, okay, this character, it's what do I give this character to make them happy? And then she'd excitedly flip through the book and look at all the cool art, but that never happened, and then I cried.
I did excitedly flip through the whole book.
But like, I didn't get to participate in that experience.
I'm not gonna like read it on stream. It's just a just chatting stream, and it's Darrian reads a Stardew Valley guidebook.
I feel like there's probably something about like reading. There's probably like a thing for that. Anyway,
Let's look.
okay, we're apparently looking at things. While you're doing that, I'm gonna read the next news story that I was gonna read, but then I didn't because it's a news story we've seen a lot of, but it's going farther. It's going faster. It's going so far fast.
Better and stronger?
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Togepi. We've
Okay.
already answered that question. Yours is Bulbasaur.
Yep. Darren, can you give me a hot transition into the next news story?
Is yours Bulbasaur or is it Squirtle?
Bulbasaur. Fuck Squirtle.
Okay. My brain got confused about type matchups. Yeah, Erin, our editor, her favorite Pokemon is Squirtle. Because I remember freaking out because you said mine can kick Squirtle's ass.
It's
And
true.
I said that's a mean reason to pick your favorite Pokemon.
It's the reason that the rival picks whatever type he picks, except in the new game, because Pikachu and Eevee are not good against they're regardless of each other. But yeah, in the other games, like whatever Pokemon you pick, like Blue will pick the other one, the one that beats up your Pokemon.
And then I'll still kick his ass.
Yep.
Because he's bad at this game.
Can you give me a hot transition?
To your story?
Can you introduce my story in any way?
Is this a hint? Is there something you have in mind?
No. You're the host Darrian's the host. If anybody hasn't noticed this, Darrian's hosting this episode. And as we know, the host introduces the stories, and then one of the co-hosts or the host themselves will talk about it.
And now we're going to talk about this story that Bryce brought to the table and then didn't read.
Okay, so the FTC has pledged a Loot Crate investigation. We've been hearing discussions around Loot Crates for over a year now. Thanks a lot, EA. This, I would say, probably the highest we've seen it. We've seen like senators go like, this is concerning and stuff, but the FTC stepping in is a big milestone in this situation. Let's see about this quote. So in Congressional Oversight Committee hearings earlier today, this was a while ago, FTC Chairman Joe Simmons affirmed Senator Hassan's request that loot boxes be investigated. The exchange took place in Senator Commerce Subcommittee hearing that was mainly focused on data privacy issues, but which ranged into many other territories. Loot boxes are now an endemic. Loot boxes are now endemic in the video game industry and are present in everything from casual smartphone games to the newest high-budget releases, said Hassan, adding that loot boxes will represent a $50 billion industry in the year 2020. I'm kind of curious, like, are they saying specifically that loot boxes make $50 billion? Are they counting, like, what do they mean by that? But anyway, likely referring to a report earlier this year by Juniper Research. Probably should read that to figure out what exactly he's talking about. It is time for the FTC to investigate these mechanisms to ensure that children are being adequately protected, said Hassan, and to educate parents about potential addiction and other negative impacts of these games. She said she asked Simmons if the FTC will investigate further and report back. Simmons offered a simple yes. ESA responded and said, loot boxes are one way that players can enhance the experience that video games offer. Contrary to assertions, loot boxes are not gambling. They have no real-world value. Players always receive something that enhances their experience, and they're entirely optional to purchase. They can enhance the experience for those who choose to use them, but have no impact for those who do not. Okay, one, that depends on the loot box. There are cosmetic-only loot boxes. EA has already proved that there are many games that have gameplay affecting loot boxes. So that statement is not always true. Two, Darren, do you think loot boxes are gambling?
No.
I think you're wrong. Because like it's not monetary gambling, but anytime I think if you're putting money in expecting something but don't get the thing you want, like you might be getting something, but like it's not the thing you want, so that's kind of gambling.
Yeah, I guess technically it would be gambling, but at the same time, like,
what?
You know that you're not guaranteed to get the thing that you want. I don't know. I guess, yeah.
That's
technically,
gambling.
The technical term is, yeah, it is gambling, isn't it? But
I mean, just because you're gambling for virtual content, I think it's still gambling and should be treated in similar ways, which I think we've had this discussion many, many times. And it's going to be nice to see kind of a higher court get involved because like we've seen Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy's mobile games have just bounced from a country because they crack down on loot crates. So, but like that was a smaller country, and I tried to look up this country. I want to say it's Belgium or I don't know. Anyway, you can't just bounce from the US. That is too much money on the table. If they crack down on loot crates, that would drastically change the face of gaming in terms of the current like what how they monetize in terms of loot boxes right now. And I'd like, there's many things about loot boxes that are like, okay, why is that the way it is? But it's cool to see things kind of go forward. All we got right now is the guy Hassan who's been saying that like, hey, they should look into this, and the FTC simply said yes. So we'll see what comes up from this, if anything.
And that wraps up the news section. So now we got to thank our supporters. Last Geek has launched a Patreon to help make great content like this podcast. For the low price of $5 a month, you can get a shout out on every episode of Ready Set Gamecast, like Aaron C. and Dragon Lucas did. All right, Bryce, you can introduce the topic of the show.
Okay. That's usually the host's job, but okay.
No, sometimes you dole it out to other people.
Occasionally. The topic of the show this time is video game collector's editions include everything from statues to art books. Do you think they are worth it? What do you think makes a good collector's edition? And do you think the trend of people going digital will affect the future of collector's editions? Darrian, do you want to yell about how the Fallout did it bad?
Fallout 76 did do collector's editions bad. They promised a canvas bag and they provided a cheap nylon bag despite the same price tag. The nylon bag, I was given a free nylon bag at the Plasma Donation Center the other day.
Did you donate plasma?
Yes.
Did they give you money?
Yes.
Okay.
They paid me and they sent me out the door with a bag that was probably the same quality as the bag that people who paid $200 got. So they did it bad. Let's go along. Let's answer each question individually.
It should be noted that they're sending people canvas bags if you message them, but
they are updating it. Actually, their tweet said that they're just sending them.
Well, how would they know?
How did they send the collector's edition the first time?
They sent it to Amazon. Amazon sent, you buy it from you buy it from whoever. You don't buy it from Bethesda.
You could.
Maybe.
You could have bought it from Bethesda.
Okay, then they would have those people's information. But if you pre-order it from Amazon, how would they know?
Then I'm sure they can also provide that to Amazon as well. Amazon will still have that information.
Okay, well, yeah. I don't think it's as easy of just we'll send in it, but
that's what the tweet said.
It is nice that they are making efforts.
They are backtracking and doing something they're legally obligated to do if they don't want to get sued, because they promised one thing and then did not provide that and provided a cheap alternative despite stating in advertisement that this is what you were going to get. That is false advertisement. That is against the law.
It's a crime.
It's a crime. Do you think collector's editions are worth it, Bryce?
For the most part, on the prices that they come out on, probably not, because I think that if you're buying a collector's edition, they're probably marking it up so much that the reason they made the bags nylon is because they said it would cost too much to make it canvas. So they were like, oh, we're not making enough money from this. So it seems like no. I will say that for the most part, there's some exceptions for a very big game, but for a lot of games, if you wait a bit, the collector's edition is going to be able to be picked up on the cheap, because not that many people really buy them as many as they make. So I picked up the Destiny 2 collector's edition for $60, and that I would say was worth the money, because that was a very good bag I got. I got the portable charger, the DLC for the game, a bunch of Destiny stuff that I don't understand, but I got a really cool bag for $60. Got a good value out of that. I want to say it was probably a couple $100 at launch. So I would not, that was a bad value there.
I think it's subjective.
I'm picking up it's not the collector's edition technically, though to be fair, if they had a collector's edition of Kingdom Hearts 3, which Darrian's saying that
they do,
they have a figures bundle. That's not technically a collector's edition. It just comes with these figures. It's not a collector's edition. It's just a figures bundle. Anyway, They have the limited edition, or no, what is it?
Deluxe.
Deluxe edition that comes with the art book. I'm getting that one just because like I'm a big fan of Kingdom Hearts. So they'd be like, hey, yeah, you get this with it. If it was like a keychain, I'd probably get it. Just because like I think if you're really attached to the franchise, you'll get it for some exclusive stuff. But I mean, really, if you just bought a thing separately, it'd probably be just as good, if not better, for cheaper. Because I think Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance came with a shadow plushie. And I think that like same plushie can be bought for cheap.
That's probably accurate.
Were you trying to prove me wrong and be like,
I did look at it.
It's the figures bundle.
Which you can't buy right now.
Sure, but I don't like those figures. They look like bad Legos. They look like Connects. They look like Connects figures. I don't like them. I don't know. Do we want to go on the next question?
We can.
Okay. Well, you answer. You answer the first one.
Well, I mean, I kind of did. I think it's subjective. Like, I'm not going to get a collector's edition for, I mean, most games. I'm only going to get a collector's edition for a game that I already care about.
That's kind of like the complicated thing about it, is that like you could buy the God of War collector's edition. You could like pre-order that before it comes out or whatever. But what if you like don't love God of War after you play it? Or what if you do love it, but then you didn't get the collector's edition? I mean, you could try and buy it after the fact, but it's almost like you need to buy the game, play it, decide that you love the game enough to get whatever stuff comes in the collector's edition. I didn't love the statue that came in the God of War. I love
it for $60.
Yeah, it's not too bad right now. I like the like if it was just Atreus and Kratos making like in their pose, but having the creatures there, I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
There was Spider-Man for PS4 did something kind of shitty with theirs. They showed the top of the statue. They showed Spider-Man up there in a cool pose, and they're like, we're hiding the rest because it's a story spoiler. But it wasn't that much of a story spoiler, and the bottom looked real bad. I did not like what they did with that. So I think like you need to be upfront about what you're getting. I personally, I think a statue of a cool moment from the games is a really good collector's edition thing. If you could do a really cool art book, maybe I would love a bunch of art books. I think a statue is a really good selling point for a collector's edition for me. What would you want out of a collector's edition?
I don't really care for statues. I mean, I do collect like Funko Pops. Those aren't quite the same though. I think a cool, I don't know what I want out of collector's editions. Fun fact, I've never bought a collector's edition.
Okay, I was just about to ask.
Except for, I guess, of the HD remixes that came with like the collector's pins for Kingdom Hearts. I bought 2 of those, but they're not super.
Yeah, that's not like really like that's maybe around the same as the deluxe edition, which I mean, arguably the deluxe edition could be sort of a collector's edition. It's like you're getting the game plus, you know, some physical goodies.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, the art book. And the pin? Yeah, you get a pin. Kingdom Hearts has been giving like pins out with their stuff.
Yeah, Is it because Disneyland still does like the pin trade thing?
I think so. PAX does pins too. I don't know what's up with people and pins lately. Are you into pins? Do you think pins are cool?
I'm not into pins, but when I worked at Hot Topic, I have like a whole bucket of like buttons and pin like things.
I don't have a great way to like show off pins, so yeah.
I've got a Twitch pin on my backpack. That's about it.
Is it a pin or a button?
Button, you're right, sorry. I mean, to me, they're basically interchangeable.
No, I feel like a pin suggests something a little bit cooler than a button. Like a button has that kind of, it's either like a circle or a square or just a, whereas a pin will kind of be like die cut and like adjust in the shape of Mickey Mouse or whatever, so it looks cooler. Anyway, so I guess you don't have anything, statues, bags, pins, art books, stickers?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever actually gotten a collector's edition.
Are you getting the deluxe edition of Kingdom Hearts?
I am, yeah. Which is not a collector's edition. And now that I understand that the figures are not a collector's edition, I'm probably not going to get that either. If it becomes available again.
They're ugly figures.
I like them, but like, one, I don't have a place to put them right now. So it'd be dumb for me to get things that would just have to like sit and not be looked at or appreciated. And two, I don't know, it seems random.
I feel like the collector's editions a lot are just kind of cheaply made. Like if there's a poster, it's kind of a shitty poster. It's like I would rather like go buy a really good poster for this game, because there are websites that'll make like really good posters for the games. Because I was thinking like, oh, like a really cool Kingdom Hearts poster would be cool, but they probably, if they made a collector's edition with a Kingdom Hearts poster, it probably would just be like the box art or nothing really like really cool. So in general, if you're paying full price, I would say no. Don't get a collector's edition. And if you are getting a collector's edition, get it after the fact when you know what's gonna be in the final box. Because like you've got the thing with the canvas bag where it's not canvas. You got the Spider-Man statue where you didn't know. I had to wait for people to get their collector's editions and do unboxings for me to find out what the actual full statue looked like. Because I was really interested in that statue until I saw the whole thing, and I was like, that looks real bad. I don't want that. So I would not recommend pre-ordering a collector's edition. Buy it after the fact. Buy the game. And if you really love the game, maybe pick up the collector's edition at a discounted price. But do you think games going digital will make, like, do you think that I don't honestly know if game developers want people to have physical games. If it's like better for them to have digital. But maybe like the collector's edition will be kind of this like kind of like a physical representation of in your house of this game, because you won't have a box, you won't have anything like that if you're mostly have digital games. So you'll have the God of War statue to be like, yes, I'm big into the God of War. I've played that one.
I've played that one.
What do you think?
I think it, again, is subjective.
What's your subject?
So, okay. The trend of going digital, I don't think will affect collector's editions because instead of providing a physical game, they can just provide a code
Yeah.
to download the game.
I would hope that would up the quality of their stuff that they give you.
The code?
Yeah, well, yeah, the fact that they don't have to provide a physical game.
Sure.
Because that's saving them on cost.
Yeah, I would hope the same thing. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I guess it could affect the number of people who order them because, like, GameStop did a thing where if you pre-ordered like Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu through them, you got a free exclusive poster, which is actually really fucking cool. But a lot of people pre-ordered the game just digitally and didn't bother with that.
Yeah, I think like so many people like you don't have to wait for the store to open or anything that like if you're eyeing a collector's edition, you probably want to play the game so much that you're gonna buy it digitally so you can play it right away, right at midnight, instead of waiting for this collector's edition thing to show up. So unless you're buying both, and I can't see many people doing that right out the gate. I could see people less likely to buy collector's editions, but I would almost see developers more wanting to put them out, because like there might be money in physical more money in a physical item than the digital stuff. We'll have to see how that shakes out. Okay, that was topic of the show.
Okay, well, now that we've finished talking about the topic of the show, we've got no questions. Bryce, will you go over the questions section for us?
Do you want to be part of the show? Go to raceatgamecast.com/submit to submit a question, comment, or your favorite girlfriend for us to read on the show. Nobody sent any questions. We miss you. Please send us questions. Do you listen to the show? We don't know if you do unless you send us a question.
Now I'm convinced that you don't listen to the show. I'm just screaming into the abyss.
Me, man. Why won't you send in a question?
Moving on. Go to readysetgamecast.com for links to the podcast on all of your favorite podcast services, including iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, as well as the video version on YouTube. And if you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes and Stitcher. It helps us grow and become more powerful. Other Last Geek stuff that you should check out. This is your regular reminder that GameMate Corp has a new episode. And there's also a Patreon exclusive episode of Ready Set Gamecast available in video and audio form at patreon.com/lastgeek for the low price of $1.
Did you see Dragon Lucas commented on that video and said it was good?
I did not.
Well, he did. Also, on the latest episode of GameMate Corp, I say this exact quote. This is the part of the podcast where we figure out the sins of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory kids.
Oh. That's weird. It's a weird thing to do.
But it's in there and we do it during the show. So if you want to
like
if you want to figure out, if you want to hear what the sins of
the 7 deadly sins, you match them up?
Yep.
I like that.
Each kid's got is one of the sins.
That makes sense. I'm picturing it now.
I mean, most of them
They're
are
pretty obvious, actually.
And it's kind of like, oh, you're right. They are kind of. This is the 7 deadly sins, and Willy Wonka's Jesus. I think at one point, I think on the podcast, I said that Charlie was Jesus and Willy Wonka's God, but Charlie is humanity and Willy Wonka is Jesus.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yep.
Bryce, where can people find you?
ReadySetGamecast.com.
And people can find me at Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and dexterity.com. I'm Dexterity. That's DEXTERIDEE. And that's the show. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.